Hello, and thank you for clicking on the link to listen to this audio overview of the early childhood teacher opportunities at Lionheart Children's Academy in Georgetown, Texas. So, what this is an overview of information that you're not going to find on the web, and it's not going to be in the downloadable position profile that we've made available to you through another link, but it's also information on how to move through the process as a pre-qualified candidate and some other career advice that might be helpful for you if maybe this isn't the perfect fit. So first of all, I just want to let you know that more than anything else, this role is really a full-time ministry opportunity for folks that want to do something to serve Jesus and love the Lord. But it's also a professional career opportunity because Lionheart Children's Academy is an established organization with presence in multiple states throughout the U.S. and has a significant number of team members and a corporate office, so you have a well-recognized logo on your resume, and there's an internal career path. So it's a ministry opportunity, but it's also a career opportunity. Now, I'll also tell you up front that because of the growth, there's multiple roles in both working with really young kids like infant and toddler, all the way up to preschool and early childhood. So you may be eligible to be considered for multiple different roles in order to get a foot in the door, or you may have something specific. And we're going to give you that opportunity to choose what you would like to be considered for. So the location where Lionheart Children's Academy is embedded in Celebration Church in Georgetown. Now that's just right off the highway, just north of Round Rock on I-35. So if you're familiar with the area, it's super convenient. Now, I'm going to tell you up front that this is going to be the most interesting and the most important thing you're going to listen to all week. Out of all the YouTube videos and everything on Spotify and whatever else you listen to, this is going to resonate with you for multiple reasons. So I would challenge you to listen to the end. Now, why are we doing this? Well, normally in recruiting, we set up an interview with someone like yourself who meets all the pre-qualifications. We're interested in you. And then you're all of a sudden in some type of like a phone screen and you're getting hammered with a bunch of questions by a recruiter. It feels more like an interrogation. And if you get any question wrong or you say the wrong thing, you can be disqualified. We don't want to do that. We want to give you an opportunity to be thoughtful about what information you provide us, and we want to be very transparent and upfront with you to empower you to make the right decision on whether or not this is the right thing for you. So this is something you can listen to when it's convenient for you. We don't have to schedule a time. You can listen to this in the car or in the kitchen, and you can rewind if you need to, but after you listen to this, we're going to invite you to communicate back to us, because if we were having a conversation, we would give you all this same information, plus you would be giving us information about yourself. So there's a questionnaire that's included in the email that we've sent you. There's a link that you can complete online or on your phone. You can even dictate right into the survey form the information that we're looking for from you. Some of the questions are easy, like how many years of experience you have, but other questions are long form where you can type out some answers, and we really want to hear from you. So again, for this specific opportunity, we have multiple open positions working with multiple age groups. And so you're actually shooting at a target that has multiple bullseyes. So let me tell you where you're at in the process. We look for folks that have some type of background and experience that's consistent with what we're looking for within the academy. And we either found your resume online or you found us, you saw a job posting, you went through an initial review by one of our recruiters, and as a result of your background and experience, we consider you pre-qualified. So you're getting this private link to this information and this email. So you see the link to the position profile and the total rewards overview. I'm going to make reference to that, but you're going to want to download that and look at it before you fill out any of the answers on the questionnaire. So the next steps here is after listening to this, you're going to respond with completing the questionnaire. That's a pre-interview questionnaire where we're literally getting information to complement your resume, and what you write is actually in many ways more important than what we see on your resume, because we're asking for very specific things that help us make a decision about where you fit. After that, we do an internal review and you get routed to one of our HR specialists where they will schedule, if you are going to the next step, probably a Zoom interview or some type of telephone screen like video conference. And then from there, you move into a contingent offer and background check and drug test and so on. So that's the process that we're going through. And before I get into a little bit more about the job, I want to really speak to why you might think this is valuable and why this might be for you. Because number one, if you're already working in early childhood education somewhere for another organization, but you are sensing that that organization does not respect and appreciate your values, and they're teaching things that bother you, or you find violate your conscience, you may be looking for someplace else to serve in your career as a result of that. And we can offer you an opportunity where you're going to love what we stand for and what we're doing. Another thing is you may be in a place where you're looking to transform your career path into something that looks more like a ministry, where you want to repurpose your background, skills, and experience to do something for heaven's kingdom. And the opportunity to be in a ministry capacity and have a career is like the best of both worlds. Or you may be a young professional, maybe a college graduate or coming up to graduation, and you're looking for an opportunity to work full time to get experience, but you want a qualified position where there's a career path. It's going to be good for your resume. There's long-term career opportunity. It's a growing organization. It just hits all those bingo spots. And if that's the situation you're in, then this may be right for you. And maybe there's a fourth kind of person, and that is you weren't really looking, but you clicked on this and you're listening, and all of a sudden now you're wondering, what's this all about? Well, things happen in life where God calls us to do things that are not necessarily consistent with our own plan. Like there's that phrase I sometimes see, we make plans and God laughs. So think about Moses, for example, in the Old Testament. He had left Egypt and he was out in the land of Midian living with Jethro and his family for 40 years after leaving Egypt. And he was just minding his own business one day, tending sheep, and all of a sudden he sees this bush that's burning, but it's not being burnt up. And God speaks to him and changes his life because he's called to do something, and that was lead the Israelites out of Egypt. God may be using this mechanism right now to get your attention, to say, I want you to be doing something special. So if you're in any one of those categories, I would just challenge you to listen through to this and pray about it and consider the long view. This isn't just a job. This is an opportunity to build not only your career, but eternal rewards and impact people's lives. Because as a nonprofit organization, as a 501c3 classified as a church, Lionheart Children's Academy is able to do things that other organizations can't. And it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to get into a little bit more about their mission and purpose here in a few minutes. But if you are looking for that long-term opportunity to make a difference, have a career, be in a stable organization, then this is absolutely the right place for you as a ministry and as a career. So one of the things that I usually tell folks when they're in transition is you want to be very careful about making a decision, because you don't want to be in a situation where you are all of a sudden looking for a new job after 6 months, because that looks bad on your resume. You want to look for something that is going to give you a career opportunity where you can stay 12, 18, or 24 months or longer. It's good for you. It's good for the organization. So take that long view and consider all of the benefits here. And I'm going to cover more of that in just a second. So you may be in transition right now in between jobs, and that's great. You may be just looking for something in a safe place to land. We're looking for the right people. So we're looking for a person who has a heart to serve the Lord and is attracted to the idea of being in a ministry, a vocational ministry, where it's a job, it's a career path, and it's ministerial, so that we're serving people for the Lord and impacting families and kids. So I would just say this is kind of random, but nothing happens by accident. And if you're listening to this right now, there's probably a reason. And if it hasn't hit you yet, it might by the end of this audio overview. So let's keep on going. Let me introduce myself because that'll help you have some context of where this is coming from. My name's Mark. I'm a recruiting manager. I work with Proforce. We're a third-party recruiting company. We help Lionheart Children's Academy recruit great people in their various operating locations. And we have a key objective, and that is to find great people and establish a win-win-win-win relationship where you win, your family wins, Lionheart wins, and their families and the children they serve, they win because we found you. So we're committed to that right relationship and finding the right people. And in this case, for the Georgetown location north of Round Rock, we're looking for multiple people. So everything you're going through right now is basically the same as an interview. It's just, we call this an accelerated recruiting model where you can now listen to this at your own convenience and then respond as soon as you're ready. And then you can think about your answers when you fill out the pre-interview questionnaire. And then that gives you a chance to communicate in the best possible way and not be on the spot and rushing through your answers. So we would challenge you to take time for that. Now, we're not the hiring team, we are the recruiting team. So we will take all of your information as we collect it and move it through the process because we work very closely with HR. So let me explain a little bit more about Lionheart. I would say that it is an amazingly professional organization that is beautiful on the inside and out. The culture, the people, oh my gosh, when you look at the locations, they're beautiful as well. It's a very professional environment. But as I said already, this is a ministry. And I want to speak to that because if God's calling you to repurpose your professional skills to do something for God's kingdom, then that is exactly the kind of person that we're looking for. Lionheart Children's Academy has a vision. Their vision statement is to see children and families transformed by the gospel through Christ-centered childcare centers across the country. Now, let me read the mission statement and we'll chat about that for a second. The mission is to partner with local churches to operate quality Christian preschool, after school, and summer programs to reach unchurched children and their families. So you can see that structurally the way this is set up is Lionheart is a separate organization, but they're embedded inside of the churches in order to be a vehicle to attract people in the community to the church. So people that are maybe unchurched are going to find the childcare program and want their kids in the program, and then that's a connection point to bring people into the church. And this is done very intentionally. So the core values, no surprise, the first one is intentional relationships. We focus on cultivating relationships and encouraging others. The second core value is having a heart to serve. In other words, we joyfully serve others with both humility and strength. And then finally, the last core value is tenacity. We're brave, resilient, and we work with all our hearts. And that's a commitment that we look for in all of our team members. So let me speak a little bit more about the job itself, and we'll get into some total rewards and all the details there. This specific role reports to the director in the location where you're applying in Georgetown. And again, there's multiple opportunities. So again, we've got opportunities to work with very young children like toddler and infant, and then all the way up to early childhood, preschool, and potentially older. So anyone in this role obviously is working very closely with not just the children, but also the parents, family members, internal management, and other employees, and so on. So we're looking for a person that has the capability of doing all that well. So let's talk briefly about the rewards and benefits, because we have a very comprehensive overview of all the financial rewards, insurance, and other things that is available for full-time employees. So first of all, the compensation is market competitive. It's $15 to $18 per hour. However, when you look at the perks and the other benefits and the other rewards, it's worth a lot more. So obviously you're getting a paid time off. The interesting thing is you're eligible for PTO from the first day you're hired. So that's a little bit unique in the marketplace. There's also a retirement savings plan, a 403B, a Roth IRA that's available. You've got 10 paid holidays that are available for both full-time and part-time folks. And of course, as you would expect, there's health and medical, prescription, dental benefits, vision insurance. There's even an FSA plan for withholding funds pre-tax to pay for medical expenses and a lot more. There's education reimbursement and career pathing and coaching and development and all kinds of things that are embedded that add tremendous long-term value. So again, the challenge here is not to look at maybe the immediate, but look at the long-term benefits to your overall career when considering something like this. And if you feel like God's pulling on your heart to do something different than what you're doing now, then we're really excited to speak with you. Because the other part of this is we're building eternal rewards. You know, when you have a spiritual impact on kids and their parents, the families, that's going to be celebrated in heaven for eternity. And that's not something that we get to do every day on any job. So I would add eternal rewards to the list. So again, the money is competitive with the market. There's definitely growth, development opportunities, and a professional career track. But again, there's a ministry opportunity here as well. So just look around. Our society is pretty crazy right now. And I can't think of a lot of things that would be more rewarding than to go home every day and feel like you've made a difference in the lives of kids and their families. So, that's something that you can look forward to. Now, the duties and responsibilities are pretty typical of what you would expect, particularly if you have a background in childhood education, what is required. I'm not going to try to go through all the details of duties and responsibilities because you can download the position profile and see all that. But ultimately, your role is an extension of the church as a ministry, and you're working with children into the families that are a part of the community. And at the highest level, your role is really to nurture and help these children grow successfully in a healthy, safe, and nurturing environment. And of course, we've got to comply with all the laws and regulations, safety requirements, and class sizes, and teacher ratios, and things like that. So there's definitely going to be housekeeping responsibilities and record-keeping requirements, and you may already know about those things. But there's some level of independence that we need for you to take those responsibilities on and be able to perform those independently, and then be able to comply with the rules and the processes and the procedures of both the organization and the industry requirements. So please download the position profile and take a look in a little more detail at the tasks, the duties and responsibilities as well. Probably no surprise there. We do expect folks to be at least 18 years of age and either have a high school diploma or a GED. And if somebody's already got a bachelor's degree or a certificate in teaching childhood education or anything similar, that's fantastic. If you've already worked for a state licensed facility, then we definitely want to know that. And you can communicate that to us on the questionnaire that is next. And if you've got prior experience working with kids, or in ministry, maybe through a church or another program. Maybe you've worked with kids with disabilities. You could have been a volunteer with Best Buddies, or maybe you have a family member that has lots of children, or somebody that's disabled, or something. If you've got any experience in any one of these buckets, we want to know that you have that specialized experience. If you speak another language other than English, that's a requirement, but if you speak another language, we want to know that as well. And I would also say that we're looking for people that have certain gifts. And that is, you've already got a spiritual maturity at a point where you recognize that God sent Jesus Christ to die on the cross for us, and we accept that because we are sinful creatures. because of our disobedience. And you know what that means. And because of that, you have a desire to please the Lord and to do something for God. You also have a desire to minister and impact kids' lives. That's a gift. If you're friendly, if you have a warmth towards people, if you're dependable and you have self-confidence in what you're doing, if you just have an enthusiasm for teaching, I mean, what a beautiful thing. We're looking for that. If you have a desire to learn and grow professionally and to get better at the skills and talents and gifts that God's given you, then we need to talk. So I would just, add all that for consideration. Because you're going to be in a role where you may have to intervene in an emergency. That's why there's certain requirements, like you got to be able to get to a child 20 or 30 feet away within 30 seconds or so, because there may be a health risk, or you may need to be able to lift 35 to 50 pounds at a time, maybe many times during the day because of kids and their weight. You've got to be able to communicate effectively. You've got to be able to identify if there's a problem with a child. So again, probably no surprises there. So let me wrap this up by saying, look, we're really excited that you were appointed the time to get this and to listen to this and go through this. There's a reason. The next steps is, if this is really interesting to you, or you feel compelled that this is definitely something that you're being led to do, we want to hear from you. We want you to use the link to complete the questionnaire and tell us about your prior experience. Tell about your background, your professional background, your skills. We want to hear anything else you want to tell us. And this is a place where you don't want to be shy. I would just challenge you to be self-promoting. We want to see that confidence, and we want to know all the details that's not on your resume that might be applicable. So don't be shy, sell yourself. And then again, once we get that information, we will move you through the next step of the process. And I'm going to make another commitment to you right now, because if you've listened to this and you complete that questionnaire, we want to thank you no matter what happens. Even if we decide, or you decide this isn't a good fit, we will follow up with you, and we'll send you some downloadable resources that'll help you with your resume and with your interviewing skills, and give you some more tips that will help you in your career transition or your job search, or whatever you're doing with your job search itself. So we will give those to you at no cost to be able to help you. So thank you so very much. Again, my name's Mark. I'm from Proforce, and this is on behalf of all the team at Lionheart Children's Academy. Thank you, and we really look forward to getting your response and reading your information through the questionnaire. Thanks again.